Do that, Miss, yeah?
Yep.
Fantastic. So as you can see, the reason I am presenting this live assembly today is because we are talking about the options process, which is going to start today, in fact, and over the next few weeks. So I want to talk that over with you and give you some information about how that's going to work. And then if you've got any questions, put them up on the chat. Miss Hadji will shout them out as we go, and I'll try and answer them as we go along. All right. So first of all, you need to start thinking about what and where do you see yourself in 2 year time? So obviously by the end of year 11, if all things go well and we don't have another pandemic going on, you will be sitting your GCSE exams in May and June. You've got to think about what you need to do to get there. Now, you may have different skill sets depending on who you are. Are you creative? Are you artistic? Are you mathematical? Are you scientific? Are you a computer geek? Are you inquisitive? Do you like helping people? Do you like saving the environment? All these things are going to have an impact on what choices you make and what subjects you are going to do from here. So, first of all, there are some core subjects you have to do. So all students in year 10 and 11 will be required to complete the following subjects as part of their curriculum. All of you are going to do English, and you will have the opportunity to sit both English language and English literature. So they are two separate GCSEs at the end of year 11. All of you will do maths. That will be one GCSE that you'll do at the end of year 11. All of you will do what's called combined science, which is biology, chemistry, and physics, but it's worth 2 GCSEs. You may get the opportunity to do triple science as one of your options if you are in normally top set. Now, I know the sets are not quite the same at the minute, but the science department will invite you to do triple science if they think you can do that. I'll come to that a bit later on. MFL, most students are required to complete what is called a modern foreign language. For most students, this will be Spanish, which you are already studying. Some may take an extra GCSE in their first language if you're able to. So, for example, if you are able to read, write, listen, and speak Greek, for example, or Turkish, or Italian, or French, you could possibly do another extra GCSE on top of what you're normally doing. Now, that wouldn't be part of your timetable. That would be because you're already able to do it. Some students may opt out with that, but the only way they would do that is if they're needing to do support studies or extra English, and it will be the school that decides that for you. It will only be the people who need extra English support or study support. And you will have to choose to do either history or geography as a humanities subject. So they're the ones that you will have to do. That's a total of 7 GCSEs. You then have the option of other required subjects, first of all, that you would do as part of your timetable but won't necessarily be examined. You will do part of RE as your curriculum. If you do want to do RE as an option, you will do that on top of what is already in your curriculum. You will do PE as part of your curriculum. There is also an opportunity to do what's called a Cambridge National Qualification in PE as an option if you want to. And you will do PSHE as part of your curriculum as well. But that won't be on your timetable. That will be part of drop-down days. Now, normally what that would be is we would invite people in and you would go to the hall and you would do study sessions there. Now, with COVID, we've not been able to do that. But if everything is okay by the time you get to year 10, that will be what happens. Okay. These are your options. So you've got media studies, RE, music, drama, art and design, technology, and triple science. As I said, if you're invited to by the science department, they are all GCSEs. And then ICT and PE are what are called Cambridge Nationals. How this works then. These subjects are going to be offered, but they are all subject to availability. If we don't have enough people, for example, picking music, we might not run music as an option because we have to make sure we've got a class size big enough to run that. So bear that in mind. Just because it's been offered now is not a guarantee that we will be running it. Hopefully it won't be a problem because you're quite a big year group, but just bear that in mind. You pick 3 subjects and you will study 2. So you either have to study 2 GCSEs or a GCSE and a Cambridge National. You're not guaranteed to get your top 2 choices, and that's why you need to make a backup choice. All right. Hopefully we can offer you your top 2 choices, but again, it depends on class sizes. You can't pick 2 Cambridge National, so you can't do ICT and PE. It's got to be one or the other. The rest have got to be GCSEs. Don't pick a subject based on what your friends are choosing or a teacher that you may well like. All right. There is no guarantee, first of all, that you'll be in the same class as your friend if they choose it anyway. If there are 3 history classes running, for example, which we have at the minute, there's no guarantee you'll be in the same lesson as your mate. We mix the blocks up for option subjects as well. So you will be in your subject with anyone from any tutor group. So bear that in mind. Don't use it because you like a teacher, because that teacher might not be running that lesson or that course or be here in September. You've got to think about what's right for you. This is what your timetable will look at in terms of timing, just to give you a heads up. So you will do 8 hours of English. This is over 2 weeks, where you'll study language and literature, 8 hours of maths, 10 hours of science, where don't forget you'll do biology, chemistry, and history, 5 hours of Spanish, 5 hours of history or geography, 5 hours of whatever your option A is, 5 hours of whatever your option B is. And just to remind you, they are the subjects there. You will then do 1 hour of RE over 2 weeks. Don't forget your PSHE is not on your timetable. And you'll do 3 hours of PE. You should get 9 qualifications by the end of this if you do that options. Okay, how the process is going to work. Sorry, Miss, go for it.
I just had Bianca ask, if we select a subject, can we change our minds after in year 10?
Let me come to that a little bit later on. Thank you for that question, Bianca, but I will come to that. Let me just go over this and then I'll answer it. All right. Now, obviously, things are a little bit different in terms of information, advice and guidance. You'll be able to normally just go and speak to your teachers in school, and that's not really possible at the minute. So let me explain what's going to happen over the next few weeks. All right. Every option area is going to be putting an assembly together about their subject, and these are going to be available to you over the next few weeks. So for this week, you will have art and design, technology, history, and geography all doing assemblies for you, and I'll put those at 1 a day. All right, so for the next 4 days, you will have 4 assemblies for you to have a look at, for you to gain a little bit more information about those subjects. Speak to your family and friends, please. Now is really important that you have that conversation about what are you doing well, what are you enjoying, what do you want to pursue. Teachers and tutors, now ordinarily, as I said, you'll be able to speak to them in school, and that's a little bit trickier. But please send messages on Google Classroom or call the school and see if they'll be able to call you back. It might be a bit tricky because teachers are only in school 1 day a week at the minute, but where they can, they will try and call you. All right. I'm available to talk to you as well if you have any specific questions. Please contact me on Google Classroom. You can do that through your tutor group if you want, because I have access to that. All right. Or again, you can call the school to arrange a call. But my plan is to do a live assembly every Monday for the next few weeks for you to ask any questions that you have. All right, how the process will work. And this kind of incorporates your question here, Bianca. Options evening is going to be on Wednesday, the 10th of February. So that's like a parents' evening, but obviously it's going to be done virtually. Don't know exactly what time's going to be and how the logistics are going to work. We've got some training as teachers this week about how it's worked. So hopefully by next week, I'll have a little bit more information for you about that. But it will be done virtually for your parents to come online to ask any questions for you to find out a bit more about the options. We will get some information booklets ready for you and sent out so you can have a look at all the information for the different subjects in a bit more detail, like what exam board they use, how the exams work, how many exams you'll have to do. You will then be asked to submit a form, not sure when the deadline is yet, and then they will be dealt with as they are received. So if you get your form in early enough, you might have a better chance of getting your top 2 options. Bear that in mind. We will then construct initial groups. So we will look at how many people picked art, for example, and see if we've got enough to run a class or 2 classes, depending on how many people did it. We can then start planning the timetable. That's why we have to do this early. Where necessary, students will be invited to make second choices. I've already said you'll be doing that. And then if groups are full or have insufficient uptake to run, we will say, right, that group can't run. We happen to go for your 3rd choice. Groups will then be formed in timetable. Now, let me go back to Bianca's question at this point in time. If you change your mind during that process for any reason, and you are absolutely adamant that isn't going to work, the sooner you let us know, the better, because this involves a tremendous amount of planning. So it might be easy. We can go, yes, there is a space in art and you don't want to do music anymore. That's absolutely fine. But if you go to a subject that's already got 28, 29 people in it, that's going to make things very difficult for us to make that swap. So the earlier you let us know, the better. So it's not the be all and end all, but as I said, if you can let us know as soon as you can, that would be great. Final groups then be reviewed in July before the new timetable is put in place for September for when you come in year 10. All right. So I've put together some websites for you to start having a look. This gives you advice about careers, about options, about choosing. Please have a look at these. I'll put the presentation up as a PowerPoint as well, so you'll have these hyperlinks ready to go. You can have a click at those at your own pace and have a look and try and do some research of your own. All right. So this is a really important time for you to be motivated and to be engaging in your work and engaging with your teachers as much as you can, guys. All right. So the drive and desire to succeed at Bluefield, the only choice is to succeed. You are what you want to be, and you will be what you choose to be. The choices you make over the next few weeks will mold the next important phase of your school career. Pick wisely. All right. You really need to think about what it is to do and how you guys want to do that. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can work out how to. Yes, I can. Here we go. Stop sharing and go back and see if there are any questions from anyone at this point in time. Anyone got anything they want to say? I'm just going to go to the chat because I've got it open now. Right, let me start at the top, guys, so I can just do it order by order. Can we turn the mics off for a minute? Okay, live lesson. Bianca, I've got yours. Can I do economics? Bessart, not at the minute. It's not something that we offer. But what we normally do when we do release the form is we do ask if there are any subjects that people may want to do. Could they write that down? Now, it's not a guarantee of anything. Obviously, it depends on staffing and everything else. But please do include that so that we know. Same Alfin for business or any other subjects. All right. Liz Jen, the form's not been issued yet. Don't worry about that. Right now, the most important thing for you is to try and gain as much information about the subject as you can. In order to do that. Kieran, where do we access the links? I will put this up in your classroom, your tutor group rooms when I finish this, and I'll put the original PowerPoint up as well as this recording, so you can access the links from that. If it needs be, I can copy it over into a Word document, if that helps. Neve, will that be 10th of Feb in Year 9? Yes, it will be. So it's only a few weeks away. It's not long at all. All right. Alfin, I think I've answered your question. George, if I don't get one of the choices, that mean I never get a career in that topic in later life? No, not at all. There are very few careers that will say you cannot do this unless you have a GCSE in a certain subject. It helps, but it's not the be all and end all. Most subjects will say you'll need English, maths and science. That's why they're your core subjects, and that's why they're the most important ones. Certain careers might advise it's better if you have a certain subject to do before you go on to study it somewhere else. The best thing you can do is have a look at those links, and there's other websites you can look at. And if you have a certain career in mind, you can find out what the best qualifications are for you to get to that career. So, for example, if you want to be a lawyer, it will recommend that you study history. I'm not just saying that because I'm a history teacher, it's the first thing that came into my head. So get an idea of that. All right. Sabir, are you allowed to pick two subjects in the same department like art and technology? At the minute, I've not been told that you can't. So I will say yes for now, Sabir, but I will double check that for you and I will find out for next week. It's a good question. Thank you. Berfin, Miss, what have you set to and you want to do triple science? It will be entirely up to the science department, Berfin. They will be the ones that decide. Miss Caridas will look at all the data and she will decide whether it is. It is normally set one, but obviously we don't have sets in science at the minute because your sets are based in maths rather than in science. So my suggestion would be have that conversation with your science teacher now, because they might have an idea about who they've earmarked for triple science. Bianca, is the form a letter or online? It will probably be online. They did it online last year, Bianca, because they went into lockdown as they were doing the options process. So the current year 10s did have to submit this all online. So my guess is it will work the same way. I'm speaking to Mr. Lillywhite at the minute because he did it last year. And I will gain some more information from him about how that will work, hopefully. Okay, guys, is there any more questions at this point in time? If you do, if you want to type it up quickly. Lara, you've got your hand up. Do you want to come on the mic? Lara? Okay. Oh, she's talking, but I can't hear her. You need to unmute, Lara, so I can hear you. Accident, no worries. Thank you, Lara. That's fine. Thank you for trying to help, George. I appreciate that. Has anyone got any other questions at this point in time? No? Right, guys, I will call an end to this then, if that's okay. As I said, I'll upload this to your tutor room so you can have a look at this as much detail as you want, as slow as you want. I'll upload the original PowerPoint as well as this recording, so you've got both. If you have got any questions, if you want to contact me through your tutor rooms, that's absolutely fine because I will have access to that. Just make sure you put Miss Gray on it so the other tutors don't respond. That's probably the easiest thing to do right now. And as I said, every Monday at 2:45, we'll have a look at live assembly. So tomorrow, art and design assembly will be available for you at 2:45. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.